Smudge still funny. A year later, year and a half later, Smudge is still funny.
True. I was posting Smudge things all through SEMA last year. So it's SEMA now.
Last year that was peak Smudge.
That was peak Smudge.
It was, and you had the best one. How did they get into SEMA? And we're in SEMA again, suckers.
It's not as exciting this year.
Mm.
All right, are we ready to do this thing?
Yeah, I figured you were ready. If you hit record, that means you're ready, Mr.
That is
Man.
a bad plan.
There we go. Just had to turn up my volume a little. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the election edition of Everyone Racers, a show designed in the world of low dollar.
Hold up. It's not the election edition because
post-election.
No, because we voted on it, but we haven't counted them all up yet.
You're right. Absolutely. The world of low dollar racing and oddball car culture. Doesn't matter what kind of Levachamp or Lucky Track Dog League you run, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes in the world of amateur endurance racing, and whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough and Chrissy gives us just the tip, we're sure you're going to giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mental.
And we are Everyone Racers. Thanks for coming back and listening to a Komet episode of our podcast.
Not my dog.
Nope. The ME-163 Komet with a K was a German interceptor, the only rocket-powered fighter aircraft ever to have been operational, and the first piloted aircraft of any type to exceed 621 miles an hour, which is 1,000 kilometers an hour, in level flight. It's number 163. That's where we are. And if you're not driving a car, don't forget that bingo card. So, it's time for what you're working on. And Jeff, I want to know what you're working on because I kind of know some of what you worked on and it was funny. So maybe our listeners would like to hear general Wakeman problems that you have been having.
I feel like these were superior Wakeman problems. Like these are larger, good.
These are still the kind of things that only happen to Jeff.
Maximum Wakeman.
Yeah, it's true. So I finally got all the parts and had a day off because I was furloughed to save money for the state of New Jersey because, the state of New Jersey is out of money or something. I don't know, COVID. What's the deal? So I had election day off. We were recording the day after election day. And I said, dadgummit, I'm tired of hearing from the wife. I'm going to fix her daily driver. And for those of you who don't remember...
That you broke as you take this macho stance of I'm tired of her complaining.
Yes.
Last week, didn't I suggest, hey, you know what's a great day to fix your wife's car? That day you have off next week.
That's right. You absolutely did. So it was a lower control arm and an axle on a CVT 2015 Forester. And I had already had it all apart, and I was prying apart the knuckle, and the knuckle split at where it clamps onto the ball joint. It was tremendously pain in the ass, and I went and got it from the thing. But anyway, so I had to remove the knuckle, or remove a ball joint from the knuckle that was on the part that I got from the junkyard. Usually you remove the knuckle while it's still in the car and use the entire car as leverage, but I didn't have that. So I went to my incredibly cluttered garage, and I put the ball joint bolt, like the castellated nut, into the vice jaws, and I commenced to whacking the knuckle. And, I unbolted, I spread, whack.
Boy's been whacking in my garage.
That's right. Sprayed it down with the old PB blaster, whack, spread, spray, whack, spread. I had a brand new, full size, XL size can of PB blaster, and I was using it liberally on the entire knuckle. And as I'm whacking the knuckle,
whacking's always better with lube.
The PB blaster fell on the floor, and that's not a big deal because my life is full of clutter and I didn't really worry about it. And on the next whack, or 10 whacks later, I'm not really sure, the knuckle fell right to the ground, right on top of that XL size can of PB blaster, tore open the can in a nice little slit, and it commenced to spinning and spraying my entire life of garage with PB Blaster.
We saw that. We heard this song. I didn't know it was that bad.
Please tell me you have the picture of it. I saw it, and it was epic.
I mean, it's just like a picture
Final,
of like
but
wetness.
now that I
But
didn't
it's
realize
like
it was
it's an
spinning.
unusually clean spot of Wakeman garage.
I wouldn't say that. Nothing's clean in my garage. So
Lubricated.
this is how wet, and I don't know how well this is going to show up. That's how wet the floor and now that's carpet. I have carpet in that part of the
listeners,
garage.
imagine a piece of the garage about 2 feet long that looks like PB Blaster spilled on it. This is great radio, guys.
Yeah,
Nice
it's
job.
terrible. Well, Mental asked. So I went in.
Computer to do the share screen. You're killing me.
So I went in to the wife and I said, I know I spilled it. You don't have to complain. But it turns out that the garage is attached to the house, is attached to the room that I'm sitting in. And so it's a day and a half later, and it's still a little choky smelling of PB Blaster. I also discovered that my shoes are absolutely covered in it. And even though
you just realized that now?
I washed all of my clothes when I was driving to the pizza place today. I was like, oh, it's my shoes. My shoes are still
Hence, that was
covered.
probably next to the PB Blaster that was spinning around on the floor.
Yes.
Wow.
It's terrible.
All right.
You've
Cool.
had bad luck with fashion accessories and oil things lately, like the PB Blaster all over your shoes. The Nissan pissed transmission fluid directly into your hat.
Into my hat the other day.
Full
Yeah.
pressure into your hat.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, you weren't in the hat, so
No,
it
no,
wasn't
the
so
hat-
bad.
I'm a
Found the
bald
hat.
guy. I am a follically challenged gentleman, and I wear a baseball hat when I wrench. And when I wrench under the car, it frequently stays under the car when I get up. And I turned on the truck for some reason. I don't remember. And
We were testing to see if you fixed the leak of the transmission lines that we were trying to fix. And
it shot a coupling
not.
was not attached, and it poured like a gallon and a half.
Oh,
Yeah,
and it's
my
still
driveway-
on the driveway.
Frothy.
We
frothy
cannot get it
transmission
off the
fluid.
driveway.
no, every time it rains, it's rainbows in the puddles at the bottom of the
sorry.
driveway.
Well, I started
But-
spraying Simple Green on it, and Chris is like, "There's no use."
There's no use.
It's
I still laugh at just seeing the truck just like full out stream pissing into inside of your hat. That's like, this is what I think of you, Jeff.
It's the Wakeman Valdez. In other news,
You should have fixed me a year ago.
I also finished a whole bunch more floors in my house. So soon a carpet is
Yay.
going to show up. And as I got to the corner of the room where I'm fixing the floors, it was wet, exactly wherever I fixed the roof at the end of last summer. So now I need an actual like roofer to come out, and I'm probably going to need a new roof. And F you house, it's the worst house ever.
Are you sure the water is coming from the roof?
Yeah.
No, that's why I'm having a roofer out to figure it out.
I'll say, it's good.
It
for
could be
roof.
the siding, because it could be there's like a soffit, and you saw the pictures. The roof is absolutely destroyed. The roof is very sus.
I'm just wondering if you might want a GC kind of person to come out, because for a roofer, everything, like to a hammer, everything's a nail. The roofer's like, yeah, you're a new roof, and it might not solve your problem.
Well, it is a siding and roofing company, and it is either the siding or the roofing. So
Okay, fair enough.
All right, because and normally it would be a clear-cut problem, but your house did try to electrocute your son when he let the dog out.
Who let the dogs out?
Woof, woof,
That's all I got. I'm still smelling like PB. Still don't have a floor done. Need a new roof. It's hell here.
Wow.
But the wife was
Sorry.
very happy. She got to drive her car to Pennsylvania today and back.
Yeah, so
there
it's a
were-
great success in the end.
Great success, absolutely. There's no
Okay.
clicking, no nothing. I only did the one axle and the one lower control arm and the one ball joint and the whole 9 yards. And it even goes straight.
Great.
Like I marked the wobble bolt and doesn't seem to need an alignment or anything.
I mean, that seems more detailed than you usually go. So well done.
Yeah.
That's great.
Mental. Why don't you go into some detail about what you've been working on?
I had a work weekend, rolled down to the Sorry for Party Los Angeles West Coast headquarters, and we got straight pipe put in the Pontiac. We fixed some of the graphics. We were still fiddling with an alignment, trying to.
Is this the wet ass Pontiac or the
wet ass
Failbird?
Pontiac?
Okay.
No, Failbird won't be there until probably after the first of the year.
Okay, got it.
But
Solstice.
you guys
Say
did
solstice.
brilliant solstice. You guys did brilliant work straightening out that frame with a Suburban. We've just got this one corner that we can't get to weigh properly. So we've got an innovative lemon solution over the shock that involves what looks like a hose clamp, but it's racing calibrated, so it's fine.
What we did was not brilliant. It was out of
Brute force.
desperation. Yeah.
But it worked, hence brilliant. If it had
Okay.
failed, it was a good shot, but no, it worked.
90% worked. There's
With
still
our
10% of it.
Car finished 7th, so
Yeah.
it worked. And then we actually got to watch the IMSA race on MCTV. If you were paying attention to some of our social media, I posted this up. But our former guest Trevor Andruska has a ride in the it's a class, it's a tiered class, but has a full-time ride in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Cup, and was running in this, and he'd actually run it all the way up to P1 on Saturday, had a bad pit stop, brought it in P4. And then we got there as he was bringing it in there, and he managed to work it up. I think officially they finished P3 or P2, but he's on the podium. And it was they had like 3 restarts within the last 10 minutes of the race. So genuinely impressive drive by him. And watching that was really awesome. And then we watched a rerun of the Formula One race at Imola. Some of Matt's friends came over, and I got a whole litany of education from one of Matt's buddies. Same way Chrissy, she had started watching the Netflix thing and then fell into a rabbit hole and did all the research and was educating all of us about this is why they can't do that, and this is what's going on with that. And it was initially going to be news and notes about Lewis Hamilton might not be coming back F1. And she explained the whole relationship between Toto Wolff and Lewis Hamilton. And so, I learned tons about Formula One this weekend. I may have to start paying attention.
It's nice to have racing on Sunday.
Totes.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying
Like
what
every
my-
other week now, so it's pretty awesome. I know it's not always going to be that way, but it's pretty awesome now.
I'm enjoying dipping my toe in, but I'm trying not to get too much into the politics until I catch up on the show. So
Good idea.
cool.
Cool.
Chrissy, since you got the mic, go ahead.
Not much going on here. We had some pretty awesome pumpkins. Did everybody see? Chris did a fantastic freaking job on a E1R and 3 p.m. I guess you didn't see.
It was
No.
sweet.
Where, what was,
I was waiting for you to finish the sentence.
Oh, yes.
Was it on the Book of Face? Where was this?
It was. Yep. I posted it there. Chris did it awesome. I did not. I tried to do a drilled pumpkin. One of them, like a pattern, was okay, and the other one was trash. But that's okay. We tried. We had the whole fam over for Halloween. That was great. We watched Imola. Pretty good race. Was pretty excited that
It really was.
Bottas did pretty well for a while, and then Hamilton won. Yay.
And
Although-
Hamilton wins again.
Oh, but he's just so nice. That's why, they showed a
You
picture
can't
of
get
him.
mad at the guy.
No, there was like a cat walking. There was like race cat walking through the paddock, and he
saw that.
stopped and he just started petting it. You're like, you are probably going somewhere important, and you're just like, no, hi, cat, and he's just so nice. Anyway, we'll get more about him later.
But the Russell almost. We'll talk about it, but yeah.
Oh yeah, we can talk about it. We could put this into race notes. I like them.
Hold
Anyway,
on, one second. Share screen. There's your pumpkins for the YouTube crowd.
Thank you. Yeah,
Pedal Mafia, E1R.
Couldn't help but notice those are not in the E1R Facebook group. So yeah, I missed that. All right, cool.
Okay.
That
they
actually
they
is really
should have been.
It was
not on there.
I found it on your page. I don't know.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
good at art, but I am okay with tools. And if you use chisels to make
It's tools.
I'm
Your pumpkin, it's
genuinely
tools.
impressed. You did the checkered flag. If you've seen our logo, if you're listening to this, the checkered
Well, I'll
flag.
post it up because
Yeah, please do.
I thought I did.
And he actually got the checkered flag on the one. That is brilliant.
He did one, and he was like, "I don't want to do anymore." I was like, "But it's so good." He did. That's great.
It was already
yeah.
November 2nd. I'm done. I'm tired of this crap.
No, we did.
I
it
had it
before
done a couple
Halloween.
days early, actually.
Yeah, we had them
I
a lot
checked
early.
out how long it took.
Oh,
Anyway.
yeah, okay.
And then Sunday we sat
Too
on the
soon?
couch all day. It was great. Chris,
Yep.
doing stuff. Let's talk about you.
I am doing stuff. Tonight, I put more E-Track in the trailer because once you go down the E-Track rabbit hole and you realize how handy E-Track is, then you just want to E-Track all of the things. So I put more in. I could probably find room for more, but now I've filled in like the 90% of where I want it. So anything else would just be like, well, yeah, maybe there, but I don't really have a purpose for it yet. So I'm happy with what I've got now. Did a strut swap on Chrissy's youngest sister, Kim's car. Last week I did the control arm and tie rod, and brought it I didn't really look at it very well. I brought it to the shop and said, see what you can do. And they said, yeah, that strut's bent. I took it apart. And I'm like, yep, that strut's totally bent. Right at the bottom too. It wasn't like a bow in it, just right at the bottom where the knuckle clamps to the strut. It just went and
I get it.
Kind of kinked right there. So I wasn't looking at that part. I was looked at the rest of it and said, I mean, the body of it looks okay, but where it goes into the knuckle looks all right. Right. I wasn't even drinking. I finished up the pre-work on the Z wiring, so that's really ready to plug into the motor and kind of go into the car.
Things.
Yep.
The boxes are getting a little crazy over here.
Yeah, good.
It's a lot of parts.
Worked on little stuff.
Oh, tell the wife I keep moving the boxes into the garage from Rock Auto.
Good. Yep. A lot of little stuff Saturday and Sunday around the house. And well, actually, Sunday we really just had a fire. It was a really crappy day here. It was like 40 degrees and raining. So that meant having a fire and some wine and some TV and doing one of those nice days. So
nice.
Yep. So
news and notes.
Okay, so we were just started talking about F1 and all of the stuff that's going on there, but basically Lewis Hamilton overcame a sluggish start to win the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix on Sunday, a record extending 93rd Formula One victory and the record of the 7th consecutive constructors titles. That's why we're talking about this. Why it's news and notes for Mercedes AMG Petronas. Hamilton beat my BFF Bottas by 5.7 seconds, which is actually a lot in F1, but whatever. Rushed over to celebrate with his team's engineers and mechanics after they came the first to win 7 titles in a row. A streak that began with Hamilton's second F1 championship in 2014. Renault driver Daniel Ricciardo placed third, which is awesome for him. And by virtue of Sunday's results, either Hamilton or Bottas will win the driver's title this season, and Hamilton's heavy favored to claim the 7th championship.
Yeah, unless he totally steps on his wiener, he's pretty much got the driver's championship.
Sometimes he doesn't. Well, you never know.
Yeah. Guess
we
what?
can't hear you. Are you talking? Are you on
Sorry.
mute? Yeah.
I didn't want to be eating jelly beans in my microphone because then I'll get yelled at.
Yes.
So I was saying that Bottas is really trying to turn up his game, and you can tell because he grew a spectacular new mustache that you can only see when he's going to put his mask on.
Oh, really? I didn't see it.
It is.
Yes.
He looked like he was climbing into a brown Plymouth Belvedere to chase bad guys in bell bottoms.
Nice.
It's
Cool.
magnificent.
This is
You go to the chief and you're like, I'm not going to listen. Your rules are getting in the way. Okay, anyway.
He's trying to do my job.
I like Bottas. He's my jam because he's the underdog, but he's so good. But if Hamilton is so good, this guy is so good. So yes, and also as we started saying, George Russell was warming his tires on a yellow and definitely hit the wall. He was so pissed at himself, and then of course, like we were saying, Hamilton's so nice.
He really was. Like he was in the corner, like in the corner workers are holding their hands up, going, "You're gonna be okay," and he's just just leave me alone,
hitting
man.
himself.
Just give me 5 minutes, man.
He was so mad. Although he had a Facebook post that it was like, all right, I'll fix it. I'm really pissed at myself. And then Grosjean said something to him, but then also Hamilton wrote him like 8 sentences, was like, you're doing the best you can. We're all rooting for you. I'm like, where did this guy come from? Can't hit him.
This is not the DFL. Let's go on to the next story.
Oh, but I love it.
If it was,
all right,
I'd be eating chips and we wouldn't be on anymore. Anyway.
So should I do this in the Boston accent or not? Because
sure, yes.
Everybody
loves
I
accents.
made it for you, man. At least do the quote.
Boston Red Sox owner John Henry, who is also the founder of iRacing, released a statement. We're elated to officially welcome Dale to the iRacing team as an executive director of the company. So this is him referring to NASCAR driver and podcast host Dale Earnhardt Jr., who is now an official employee of the Massachusetts-based company, being named an executive director and part of its management committee. The talks were consummated when Earnhardt challenged his management team to formalize a relationship he has been building informally for years. The deal includes Earnhardt receiving... Oh, they totally did. Oh, yeah. It was wicked consummated. The deal includes Earnhardt receiving a set of compensation as an endorser and additional financial incentives, they could see the deal become more lucrative for the former driver. So look to see him join one of our E1R races
Excuse me.
before too long.
And if you want compensation, surprise compensation, Dale.
Yes.
Drive in front of Tom.
Those massholes also passed. We already mentioned this the day after Elections Day. They passed one of the strongest right to repair bills in the nation today, whenever they finished counting. You remember we talked about this before, that the auto industry had the false news about like the sexual assault danger. If you let anyone get to the data inside your car, they're gonna rape your wife. Ha 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 ha. Everybody was like, no, we don't believe you. Bam. So what this does is it really opens up all of the data architecture for anyone who wants to make computer programmers, aftermarket tuners, all that kind of stuff.
Or just fix the damn thing.
Yeah. So they don't have to give the information, but they can't void your warranty because you played with the information.
Which is exactly what I expect from the home of click and clack. Damn it.
Wicked pisser.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
right.
Yeah.
It's a lot of Massachusetts today. Up and coming racers!
Champ Car is running the Bell Racing Sebring 14 hours, of course, at Sebring. They are not messing around with the Rona. They sent an email out last week, and I am quoting, simply stated, masks are mandatory anywhere on Sebring property at all times. No exceptions. That's paddock, garage, pit lane, everywhere. You must wear a mask, face covering. Yes, your balaclava will work. Those are the rules we have to operate under. That's the deal. We are all in this deep into the year of the COVID, so let's just roll with it and go racing. What happens if we don't? Well, that's all of Champ Car, get 2 warnings, then they stop the race until we fix it. Let's please not have that happen. So if you're headed to Sebrings, mask up. I would actually hate to be the guy walking through the pits when they have to red flag the race because you didn't put on a mask. There are 95 cars. 30 of them are BMWs.
Boring.
23
That's slightly
Miatas.
less than a third.
It is. 23 Miatas, 3 Hondas, 7 Porsches, and a Ford Ranger. Including in that
Yeah.
Honda car count is our buddy Dustin and the Fat Crack Accord. Good luck, guys.
Sweet.
Nice. Recent results. Hey, the Route 60 suck, whatever. I can't.
And it did suck.
It did suck, man. The winners, the Wedge. Come on. Everybody knows the Wedge won. Punch Raffle was in second, and Tatas were in third. What is RAS? Anybody know?
Random Acts of Stupidity.
Random Acts of Stupidity.
It's the IOE.
Yeah, the Ghost Escapers, which came in 10th. I have no idea what car they were in.
It was a Subaru Legacy wagon.
Oh. Huh.
They must have
wonder-
done something.
They must
really
have done
dumb.
something really dumb because that's not
They
that
did
dumb of a
all
car.
of the dumb things. It was great.
All right. Org choice was the Junkyard Rejects. Judge's choice was Smokey and the Vandals. Bandits, excuse me. Dishonorable mention, team lowered expectations. And from who's Stabs?
Jeff Stobbs.
Oh, Jeff Stobbs. Thank you. Great job to all the participants. I have done too many rallies, and I think this one was tough.
As they
Yeah,
went through Oklahoma, they had that ice storm. Oklahoma has still not recovered from that ice storm. I've got 4 friends without power still. That's the Wedge. He drove the Wedge through that.
The Wedge was hilarious. The Wedge was just the most fantastic thing. I know we've covered this already, so I'm not going to go too deep into it, but yeah, that Wedge was awesome.
Jeff, your pronunciation of Lemon's rally teams this time was above average.
Oh, thanks.
We didn't have any Scrappy Yard Fuji's.
I didn't know who Stabs was, so that's...
There was no team names that were that close to,
Yeah.
or all the words stuck to
Now that
together.
they need to run the Wedge in Lemons now.
Yeesh.
I don't know if they can, but
I
they
don't know
can.
Probably
if they
not.
can. It's not a...
Oh, that's true.
It's
They
not
can
a
be
production car.
their team name could be the Wedgies.
I told you I had a dream that we should run an all-wedge team. TR7, X19,
This is a terrible
Subaru
dream.
XT. Do them all.
No.
No.
He woke up covered in PB blaster.
That happened. Okay, well, we're catching up on 2 weeks ago. We didn't have the Lucky Dog Halloween at Portland International Raceway results, but now we're going to talk about them. Saturday had Hull Pass 3 laps over Screaming Chicken Racing, who edged out SMRT Racing by 2 seconds. On Sunday, Screaming Chicken closed that gap, couldn't get around Hull Pass, and they were 56 seconds from first. Third was Finally Racing, which set the fast lap both on 3 days. Both days, 3 laps back. Saturday night was a sprint race. Saturday night sprint race saw Race Invaders 5 seconds over Screaming Chicken Racing, both 1 lap over Bison Power. This race also featured 3 Fieros, and Mental was so excited about it. How do these end?
Yes.
86 was the Heroes Motorsports. Didn't make the event.
Wow. You broke before you even got there.
Yeah, 86 of Fiero Line 45th Saturday, didn't finish Sunday. These are exactly what we thought would happen. Finally, the 86 GT from Pontiac was 20th Sunday and 28th on
See, exactly what I said. One is going to not work, one is going to catch fire, and one's going to do okay.
The one that caught fire is the one that didn't make it. It was probably loading into the trailer.
Hey, we've been there.
On the drive there, they're like, man, I'm rolling coal. No.
Haven't done that.
Oh, listener feedback time.
So for my co-host and everyone else that was fussing about the tiny race seat cell phone holder, we have a link in our show notes. So if you have means, you can print one on your 3D printer. However, if you do not have means, stand by. We are working to create Everyone Racer branded tiny race seat cell phone holders for our listeners.
And we will sell them for $1 million.
The link is in our show notes. But continuing on with that, our Breaks with Corey video generated some discussion, specifically my mention of stainless steel brake lines. So let me go ahead and say right now, not only am I wrong about stainless steel brake lines, I am really, really wrong. Rally correspondent Santiago said, BT dubs, OEM rubber brake lines are totally fine for most applications unless you have crazy high line pressure. And at that point, you should probably put some better pads to lower your operating pressure. OEM rubber lines flex less than some cheap stainless lines.
Mike Krenzer said, surprisingly, most modern brake lines, even replacements for old cars, now have aramid, aka Kevlar, fiber weave where there was once nylon or cotton. Guess how much aramid fiber allows that brake line to expand? In short, even for budget lines, it's become more economic to just use bulk line for every application. And since modern covers come stock that way, almost all replacement brake lines that are not NOS come that way.
James Mulhern also chimed in. We rebuilt all the brake lines in our Volvo with new lines and AN fittings. Took some planning to make sure we had all the right parts, but it was worth it. Nickel copper lines throughout with stainless. 3 AN fittings, just bought stainless steel braided lines to jump the wheels.
And AJ added, it's it's always the guy that doesn't come to work days that usually gets upset when he finds out that you use the cheapest brake parts from Rock Auto sells rubber Chinese brakes hoses for life.
I'm going to assume that the stainless braided brake line is like the slotted and drilled rotor.
No. It's old information, because back when you used to autocross, if you didn't have those, your rubber lines would expand, your brake pedal would get soft. So
yeah, well, like in 1984.
It's not that I was operating on, when I was autocrossing, but it's not that I was operating on bling mentality. I was operated on old man waves fist at cloud mentality. So. Now,
no, I mean, like in 1984, people thought that the drilled slotted rotors was a positive thing, not that.
Fact. In regards to the new Lemons schedule, AJH7722 commented, I hope NCM runs the full track, not the small one, which we all ran the small one to Humps a couple years ago. We agree, because the sinkhole really makes that course.
We did the sinkhole with 1 lap when we were there. Yes. And the sinkhole was sweet.
And I've done it with some other organizations, AER. And AJH added, it's the exit that sets up that straight for max velocity. The complex of corners before deception are what make or break your time on the track. And I also love it because it's within 3 hours of my house.
Great track to lose a wheel, too. Let me tell you, they towed me right back. No problem. And finally, James Mulhern disagrees with our anti-daylight savings time rant, saying the primary benefit of daylight savings time is that it moves an hour of sunlight from the morning to the evening in the summer. All the late summer nights where the sun doesn't set until like 9 p.m. are due to daylight savings time. That the sun would set an hour earlier, and that hour of sunlight would move up to 4 a.m. when everyone's asleep.
Not in my city.
Unless you stay up that late. Jeff.
Multiple people also told me that most of the world does daylight savings time. So I was wrong.
Yes,
in saying
I heard.
It's a stupid American thing.
Yes.
Farmers.
Yeah, I can't remember doing it when I lived in Germany, but that was a while ago. So anyway, James also added that the list of arguments that it messes with your sleep cycles applies if you can say, or it doesn't apply, if you can say with a straight face that you never vary your sleep cycles by an hour, which Chrissy likes to go to bed at the regular time 5 days a week, but not the other 2. So
Yeah.
And even when I try, I can't. But I do know because I was up at 4 a.m. on Monday, which was great. And because our window wasn't closed and the sun came shining in, and I was like, what is going on here? Yeah, it's terrible.
I see. So I feel like we can blame daylight savings times for the fact that we have 2 missed iTunes reviews.
All right, back in September.
What?
September? Oh, okay. Upset Mayan wrote, I'm usually skeptical of smaller podcasts. We're smaller podcasts. We have a lot of them. However, this
tens of
podcast
listeners. Come on.
is friendly, professional, and informative sometimes. Easily a star 5 review. You're awesome.
Whoa.
Thanks.
I
How
don't
did we
think he's
miss
listening
this?
to us.
I mean,
That's-
maybe
I think-
meant to write it on another podcast.
He said smaller. Oh,
Yeah, but
sounds...
still professional,
What?
Yeah, it's true.
informative.
Sometimes we're informative.
Much more recently, not sitting around for weeks and weeks and weeks, the Volleyheads wrote, we learned so much from Everyone Racers. Great group at the track and on the air. Always great information mixed with humor. A must listen for all new and seasoned racers.
These are so nice.
Yeah.
Right.
You think?
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely. We'll get you stickers next time we see y'all. Thank you.
E1R races on Mondays. Okay, we were at Oran, I guess, Park Raceway in New South Wales, Australia. First race was all right-hand drive Aussie cars, Radicals, and DEJM MX5s. I think there was one.
That's
Then JDM. I'm sorry, my screen moved. Then the same cars for the second race were replaced with Radicals and with the 87. It was fun. Seeing Santiago sideways and for almost all of the course was worth the price of admission. This Monday, we already chose. That's great. This Monday we get dirty. It's time for proper rallycross. Join us looking at you, Dale, at 9 a.m. and get 10 Eastern. Text, email, social medias for password and Discord links.
It's 9 p.m. It made you sound like you said 9 a.m. because you said 9 and.
9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, if you're there at 9
Eastern.
a.m.
We're not there. I'm at work.
Nope. Yeah, seriously.
If
You have
you're
nothing
on
else to
the
do,
E1R
sorry.
If you're on the E1R race at 9 a.m., you don't need to worry about Biden's tax plan.
Yeah.
True.
And
You know who
Yeah, who
else
else?
doesn't have to worry about Biden's tax plan? Chrissy's mom. Hi, Chrissy's whole family, who does not make more than $400,000 a year.
I don't know.
Or maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
The whole family
He
together.
charged
If she sold
a
cookies,
dollar
she
for the
would.
cookies.
They're also driving Mental's Snowflake, so I'm pretty sure if they did, they would be driving something cooler. I mean, no offense to
What?
Snowflake, but
There's
Gotta be.
nothing cooler than snowflake.
It's
Except
less
for-
janky than when it got here. I'll put that
That's
way.
so little.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of less janky, it is winter-ish in some parts of the country. Some of you are wrapping up your race season, and it's time to think about de-jankyfying your entire world. Well, at least the race team world. So it is the off-season. We have a few months until the next race. Your cars probably need work just like ours. If not, maybe full replacement. Maybe it's time to start thinking about that replacement. So does your house in a few ways, your spouse's car, your family's crap boxes. You probably got to get the dog spayed and neutered. There's Volvos, there's Hiluxes, there's Lotus 7s waiting to be built.
International trucks.
International trucks that are $7 from starting for 20 years.
If nobody understands how things are going,
These are all
you're
things
shooting
that are
each other
live.
at
Yes.
each other. This is what's in your yard. This is what's in your
Yes.
yard. Yes.
I don't know. If somebody bought me a many close to $1,000 TIG welder, I'd probably learn how to weld in the winter.
Yep.
Can I show you
Yep.
the eye roll face? Man, we are at each other this night. This is great.
By the way, Mental's back. Let's bust on him.
Yeah, he's got a truck with no bed.
Or if I had like a desert with a truck, I would have that thing running.
I've got
Yep.
so yeah,
and a bunch of broken motorcycles. Then you could have your own motorcycle races and put the motorcycles in the truck, because that's what trucks are for.
It gets worse. I've also picked up my newest dumb project, which I'll be launching on the Instagram this week.
Oh,
I picked it up this weekend. I did do a little work on it last night, and it's got electricity.
okay. That's
Good.
more than my little motorcycle. But anyway, how are you going to prioritize your winter projects? How are you going to make sure that the wife stays happy and lets you keep racing unless your wife actually races with you, which is the best plan? Because
Which
then
she
you can
better
say,
be friggin' happy,
let's
though.
buy a supercar, and she says yes. So those of us who have to keep the spouses or taxmen happy, how do you prioritize? How do you figure out what you're going to do and what you're not going to do? Somebody start it.
I'll get us started. And this topic came from a discussion that we had over the weekend when we sat down and realized we have no working race cars.
How many?
Not only do we have none, zero.
Wait, zero.
Zero.
Who
And not
said?
only do we have no
Soda.
working race cars, we are so far away from having even one working race car. We have every race car we have has to be either built from scratch or have a major engine swap.
Can
It's
I
something that never
clarify?
there.
I want to clarify that this is not all of 3 p.m. Right. So this
No.
is the other 3 p.m. cars are
The
Dave's,
Cressida.
the Cressida's
the
fine. The
RX-7.
RX-8's 7's fine. Those are fine, but
Ish.
they're not the cars we're talking about. So I just want to make sure that we're clarifying the cars that are 3 p.m. that we're discussing.
The cars that the four of us would drive, plus Jim too, and then other various assorted people too who come along with us. So that made us think, well, what are we going to do? It's April's going to be here before we know it. We got to get working, especially because this weekend's going to be 65 degrees, and in 2 months it's going to be 12 degrees.
12.
So
Well, and then for the folks down south that your season's a lot shorter, you're going to be doing the Road Atlanta race and then turning right around for Barber. I just signed up for Barber today, so it's happening.
You're going to get a haircut? Never mind.
Yeah.
Go on. You signed up for
I have to decide if I am. I don't know. It's been going on for a long time. Anyway, so the first step in figuring out prioritizing your projects is think about your goals. And you need to really be clear about what your goals are. And start with a big picture. What do you really want? Not just I'd like a nice sandwich and a beer. No, big picture. What do you want? And then beyond that, how do you get there? Think through the steps it's going to take to get there. It's a lot of deep thinking, so it might take you a few drinks to do, but this only gets better. Right? Now, once you've got that idea in your head, what of those things do you want the most? There's got always the one thing you say of all of those nice things you think you want. One of them's the one the most. All right, what's it going to take to get you to that project? And along the way, what are you willing to give up to get what you want? Because you can't have it all. It's never going to happen. So, what are you willing to give up? Are you willing to give up sleep, money, time with family, time with friends?
By the way, the answer to that, it better be yes, or you're not even getting there from here. So
Sure. Or I'm not, I'll put off that house project for another year, or I won't build a shed, or I won't.
He's so far down the list.
Exactly. Yep.
Everything
Or
is
now
outside.
now I
Everything
have
Jersey.
to build a shed. Yeah.
So then what else? What's getting in your way? And this, there's always something getting in the way. Well, I don't have the time. I don't have the parts. I don't have the money. Okay. How do you get those things that are in your way out of your way, figuratively or literally? In some of our cases, there's literally stuff in the way that you can't do anything. So
Can I take a quick aside?
Yeah.
So I do this thing with my college students, and this is going to help you out, where I do life goals, and I put a whole bunch of life goals in a hat, and then they get to each take 5. And then I tell them, this is your life, unless, of course, you'd like to trade with other
It's
people.
slowly ending.
So-
1 minute at a time.
So people look down at their thing and they see close personal relationship with God, lots of money, power, fame,
Pants.
a loving family, and they go, I don't want to be famous. Who wants to be famous? And somebody's well, I don't want a personal relationship with God. I'll trade you. And and these are the These are the decisions that we make in our life all the time. We spend less time with our kids because we're working on our career, or we spend less time working on our physical fitness because we want to spend it with our family. And these trade-offs are what you have to think about when you're planning each facet of your life. And you might have to trade off that work project on the house so that you can get your race car done. Just part of the process.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
This series of questions and thoughts, kind of, we're gonna come back to this, but there's a lot more to it than this. So, Jeff, that was a nice dose of reality. Why don't you keep going with that?
Yeah, it's great because what do they say? Do what I say, not what I do. I
Totally.
am terrible at this. I am the least realistic thinker on the planet. I'm like, we can get it all done. Let's just do it. And then
I'm really glad that we're clear on this. We
Yeah,
don't even have to tell you about this. That's
Totally.
good.
I know this for a fact.
But you need dreamers. You need a guy walking around with knee pads that convinces you maybe you actually can do it. Because
I like to say
sometimes
it's
he's
the
right.
futurist, the inspired, shared vision. So I always think that we can I see the future and it's going to be awesome, and we're going to have the 12 cars done, and we're going to do this, and we're going to win the first time. So yeah, you need someone there who's going to be like, yeah, did you forget about this and this and this? And don't forget, you're going to have to do this and this and this. And what have you actually checked with your wife to see if you can do that? And I'm like, I guess I should do those things. So yeah. But seriously, everything is going to take extra time. We talk about this all the time. We are not like way trained. We do not have like just on time parts delivery. We break things, we screw things up. We don't have 27 steps of 3D modeling, figuring out what things. So sometimes you're going to have the wrong part, or you're not going to have the right thing that fits, or you're going to have to replan halfway through, or somebody's going to drop a tire on the racetrack, and all of a sudden you're looking at 2 broken cars instead of 1. And the time, everything is going to take longer than you think. Okay. And by the way, everything is going to cost more than you think, because you can trade money for time, and you can trade time for money, but you never get any of them back. So the amount of times, it actually just happened this week. I had to pay Rock Auto for some incredibly fast shipping to make sure the bolts that I ordered were going to be here in time, because the first set that I ordered got delayed. So that was an extra $36 for $12 worth of bolts that I sure as hell didn't plan on.
This is our version of just-in-time parts arrival.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, shit, I got to board of this now.
Amazon, why did...
Can Amazon get it here? It's Friday. Can we get it here by Sunday? Okay. Napa? Oh, why is Napa closed?
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Mental.
In my early days as working at the auto hobby shop on base, I learned words of wisdom from the 2 old heads that worked there. And one of them literally said, take your best time estimate, now double it, and then add 30 minutes for cleanup. That's how long it's going to take you. And that is almost invariably proven to be the rule.
I wish I could clean up in 30 minutes.
I wish that was any of our time frames at all. I'm glad it's good for you.
Yeah. But anyway, the budget's going to cost more. The time is going to cost more. Here's another, for instance, Chris, I got a water pump. What number water pump is that? Number 2. Why is it number 2? Because the first one didn't work. Once you installed it and you put all kinds of goop on it, can you return it? Maybe. I don't know.
We can wipe the goop off pretty well.
We'll see how Rock Auto.
Maybe somebody else needs an LS water pump that doesn't actually fit into a Z.
It fits on an LS. It just doesn't fit in our car. But anyway, so you really need to have this realistic conversation, have the realist on the team who's going to tell you that you're crazy, and then go back to your goals and reprioritize, because maybe you can get job A and job B done as long as you do C later. And it's sometimes it's about prioritization, sometimes it's about giving up, sometimes it's about just sending it out and having someone do it. And
Send it.
I hate to say it, but checkbook wrenching happens sometimes.
Sometimes the checkbook is totally the best tool.
Totally.
Like for mudding drywall.
That's
So
Well,
much faster. And easier.
so
Well, we built the. Oh, sorry, Chrissy. One more thing. We built $40, $60. I can't remember what I spent on LS motor mounts for the LS into the Z project. We have, what the hell are those anodized alumina? In the Honda, those motor mounts are blingy.
Yeah. Damn it, they work.
They work great.
Yeah.
Well, the Honda's
Motor
a perfect,
went right in.
Yeah, the Honda's a perfect example. You didn't arrive at the the K swap until how many turbo motors blew up?
Lots. All of them.
All of them.
all of them, I think.
Yeah. And there's some parts of the K swap we did on the I'm trying to do this the time way. And like the wiring. I did all the wiring from scratch and out buy the kits and stuff like that. And it cost us lots of time, actually. And some ways have said, you know what? I'm just going to go the money route, like the wet mounts. It's like someone has figured this solution out. This thing works really well. And if I get it wrong, it can be very wrong and won't work well. So thank you, Mr. V.
I think if it had not been that Road Atlanta weekend where you and Jeff literally had the 3 folded out page wire diagram, you might have attempted the other way.
Yeah, I've done wiring on so many of these damn things now. If you just go slowly and methodically, wire by wire, usually you're okay. Until this one switched wire you use for power is a different kind of switched power than the other switched wire that you need to have power.
Because they were all the same color.
They're both black and yellow, and they're both switched. It only happens that one is only switched in on and not start. The other one is switched in both.
Was one of them like
kids.
canary yellow and the other one like lime yellow?
They were both totally black with a yellow stripe.
So same
Coming
stock
from the,
wire.
Coming from the same area of the fuse box. Again, one was switched in on and start. The other one only in on.
Did we preface what you're talking about? This is why
the
the
Honda
Honda
wiring. We
Okay.
said the Honda wiring.
I'm just trying to give people a quick lesson of check to see how that wire really is switched. Is it on and start or on? Anyway, let's keep going.
Okay, let's keep talking. I was trying to just talk. You can check off Chrissy gets interrupted because there was a bunch of good segues on this. I'm going to talk about who's going to help you. And I want to think there's a lot of different options, not just about your car, not just about your teammates. We're going to think a little bit broader than this. So who is going to help you in life, right? So we do a lot of house projects. Sometimes they're bigger than just me helping. What family members can you get around? What family members are not doing anything that could just come over and help you work on the car? Maybe they don't know what they're doing, but who can give you an extra hand and that might just be enough to get you moving.
Sometimes
Obviously,
you just need mass to stand on the bumper to bend that sucker back.
yeah. Or you just want somebody that's sitting around and commiserating with you just because that's what you want at the time. But anyway, really you want people that are actually going to help you. So you're going to find a teammate. Maybe you say, we're going to have a big work weekend. We're going to buy you pizza because we've talked about this on many shows. We buy lunch or you chip in for lunch, but we're going to have a great party. We're going to serve you dinner. It's going to be awesome. We spend time with friends, get everybody over here, bring your own cars. That's what we did a couple weekends ago. They're necessary. We can help you. You can help us. Make it a party and see if other people can help you. That's one way that you can get actual team members to help. Often team members, especially arrive and drives, want to help with car projects, but either don't feel like they know how or don't know that they're going to be very helpful at a work weekend. So we make work. I think.
Sorry. Oh, wait.
Nothing. We'll talk about, I think Mansel's going to go more on this, just making sure that we have jobs for everybody to do, but it's finding what's good for people and who can come and tell them that they're going to be helpful. Good.
I just want to say, like, for the arrive and drives and the hanger-ons and the people who are maybe not central to the team, let's make sure they feel invited and feel comfortable. The first time you're going to someone you've never met and wrenching at their house or whatever, like we're all kind of like into it at this point. Like I don't mind taking my pants off in front of you all. And, in
fact, I think I tell you to do that before you come in the door because you're usually so disgusting.
Yeah, yes.
That I say your clothes are not allowed in my house.
And on other times, it really makes that grocery store trip interesting.
but I was reflecting on like when we had the.
Hey, I got a mask on. What do you want?
That's right. What do you mean I have to be fully clothed?
What, the mask has to be on my mouth? What? No.
Oh, I wear the mask on my face. Anyway, I was reflecting with our time with the documentary filmmaker not too long ago, and he wasn't part of the crew, and he wasn't maybe as comfortable being at our house, and it took us.
When you took your pants off.
No, I didn't take my
He
pants
had
off.
pants on then.
He did. That was at the race, though. Bow, chicken bow. Anyway, it's not that kind of movie. Make sure people feel invited. Make sure they know that it's okay to kick your shoes off. Make sure they know that it's fun to be there, and they'll come back more often. Done.
I like that one. That's
went
really
left.
good.
Go
All
back
right.
to how to do a work weekend episode for
Totally.
more on that topic.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And there was only a couple weeks ago, so yeah, check back then. Next is how reliable are they? How much time are they going to give? So, do they show up when they say they're going to show up? That's a good place to start. We've occasionally had a arrive and drive, maybe once or twice, that we said, oh, they might show up, and then they don't, or they show up on Sunday afternoon, and you're like, where were you? Anyway, if they're not able to come when you ask them to, or when you've decided that there's a weekend, you need to have free weekends together if you're going to have somebody help you. That's really what it comes down to. Admittedly, Jeff, Chris, and I sat and said, okay, what weekends are we going to work on this car? Because we needed to. Actually, let's just tell the whole thing. We called Jeff this weekend and said, hi, we have projects to do. When can we get this done, and what makes the most sense? So having that frank conversation, and Jeff has a family, and Chris and I have race cars. So Jeff has to figure out when
cats. You have cats.
One, but and she does care less
Yeah,
if we're
I know.
here.
She
Yes, it's
likes
fine.
me.
Don't start. Okay. Anyway, Jeff has a friend. Just has a family that he needs to handle and spend time with. So it's not necessarily reliable, but sometimes he has to make priorities and say he can't necessarily.
Boy Scouts on this weekend, this on that weekend, blah blah blah. Stupid family who comes in for Thanksgiving.
Right. We say, can't that be a whole work weekend? And you have stuff to do. So
Well, this year, Ken, thanks to the Rona. Everybody's staying in Chicago, so.
All right. Okay, good. Jeff, Mental found for us episode 157, which was only a few ago, about planning a work weekend and talking about what you need to do with everybody and how do you make sure everybody feels comfortable about what they're working on. But it will make them come back and do stuff with you. So that's what I'm trying to get at. Also, just go back to your goal section and see what reality fits with your goals. So really, when we come down to it, the three of us sat on the phone and said, what can we actually get done, and what makes the most sense, and what time can we give to these projects? Because occasionally we have house projects, but we have to plan our life around when we think we can get race cars done. So it's all about being realistic and making sure that you have the time to do whatever you're supposed to do, but making sure that you have somebody that can help you. It's going to make the project go happier, faster, and you're not going to feel like you just did the whole thing yourself. And if you're a strong man and build cars by yourself, I'm very sorry.
It is lonely wrenching alone.
Yeah, a tiny addition to that. If you've got a team, be upfront and together about what your time commitment's going to be, and for the longer term, not just, I'll try to make a couple weekends. It's like, all right, no, seriously, if we're going to get this done, we've got to do basically every other weekend for the next 3 months. Are you right with that? And can you get them on the calendar even? Things like that, just to get everyone's commitment for those times. Because once it's on the calendar, then in next week when someone says, we have to do this other thing one of these weekends, how about this one? Oh, no, I'm at the work weekend then. How about the weekend after? And then it naturally works as opposed to having to squeeze it in and inconvenience people. Mental.
We've all got those ridiculous little social media devices in our hands. When you're planning those work weekends, that's exactly what you do. And that way, when your boss says, "Hey, let's go fishing," oh, sorry, got to build race cars this weekend. Super Bowl's on race cars, and that's a key aspect of it. And having more people involved tends to eliminate. Jeff is our futurist. Jeff is the very
dreamer.
this would be great. And Chrissy is this perfect support mechanism of, okay, well, if we're going to do this, we will need these things and I can make that happen. And Chris is the pragmatist. So Jeff is the person hitting snooze when their alarm clock goes off going, it's okay. I can brush my teeth in 3 minutes and shower in just 2. And as it always comes down to, and then ends up, driving like a lunatic into work going, well, why can't I drive to work in 2 minutes? While Chris is but there's always traffic at this intersection. I hate to feel rushed. And between those two lies the answers. That's why the conversation early and often really helps. And I think,
and then you get someone like Mental on the sidelines going, you can do it. This is going to be the greatest thing we've ever done in our whole lives, and I can't wait to do it. It's going to be awesome. And he's cheering us on because he's all the enthusiasm, but that helps. You need people like that to do that and hand you wrenches. And even if they're a while away, and the enthusiasm is always appreciated.
I try to make it worth my while when I'm there,
Totally, you do.
You're rotating tires. Go get a beer. I can rotate tires. I can totally rotate tires.
Yep.
All right, Chrissy, are you finished, or do you have more? Okay. So finally,
that was a head shake,
nice.
Everybody.
Yes, someone.
I'm sorry, my
someone
microphone was wrapped around myself. Sorry.
I think I'm going to use that at the end. Someone checks with Chrissy to make sure she's done before they talk. I have to put that in.
Wow, that's so nice of you. I apologize.
All right. So you go all the way back to what Chris talked about at the beginning. Think about your goals. All right. You're going to have to prioritize those goals because you can't do them all. Sorry. I mean, just by virtue of being a racer or a racing enthusiast, even Chris, you're delusional to a degree. It's very in degrees, but we're
didn't get here through logic. Did you hear that, Bill? You can't logic yourself into a race car.
Or Hamsa. This isn't a rational decision. So of those priorities, which one of those do you want the most? Do you want to win an overall? Understand that that's going to take some time and commitment. You're going to have to start walking it back from there. Do you just want to do, in the immortal words of Randy Bish, I just want to do dumb race car things with my dumb race car friends? Okay, that's a very realistic approach. And, it makes, it frees you up to create websites. So you take that big picture from the first point and you've got that prioritization. This is the thing. You have to write it down. This one, it requires some sort of on paper. This helps your brain process it from a logical standpoint. Now, how do you get there? You want an overall win. Okay. And you've got probably a good formula to build a fast race car, and you may have already scheduled everything that is going to take to build that super fast race car. How are you getting it to the track? Do you have a tow pig? Does your tow pig, you got to have tow pig love fest? What about a trailer? You renting a U-Haul? You doing the janky ass trailer? We've got a friend who rents a Super Duty every time they need to tow a car because they're not buying a Super Duty truck. Other people have tow vehicles, and those tow vehicles also require time and maintenance and money and effort and weekends.
And sometimes they pee on your hat.
It's like when the dog is pissed.
Yes, exactly. And don't think that they don't get mad. And you got to look at a realistic situation. What is your garage and your shop situation and your abilities? Yes, I have 4 unloved projects right now because I can leave them all outside for years. We are rolling up on 200 consecutive days without rain in Las Vegas. So I'm good when it comes to rust. Up east, can't do that.
Nope.
But
can't even keep it out of my freaking floor. It just comes right to the goddamn roof.
So, understand that you may need, in order to get where you want, you may have to construct a garage or a facility or something that is going to, go with your abilities. A thing I see among a lot of racers is sometimes you get you are so wrapped up in possibility that you end up jammed up, so that every time you want to work on something, you've got to move for other things, which is incredibly disheartening. And you can go back and listen to our episode on burnout, but interwoven into this entire fabric, you need to list your support efforts, which goes everything to what Chrissy was saying. All right. You want a winning race car, but you've maybe never rebuilt an engine. Is that really realistic? Do you have folks that you can reach out to? One of the greatest assets of having this program in our race team, it's not just people that can show up for work weekends, but it's the relationships that we have developed literally over a decade with people who know things. When Chris was talking about paring down that LS harness, we had Corey Dickman, who's done, God, a dozen of these, and it was a sanity check. You do this, yep. You do this, yep. You do this, all right, you're in good shape. So reach out to people that understand what it is you're trying to do. Understand even just racing, your gear requires attention. All right. Well, go back and listen to our just the tip about having your Hans recertified, your helmets. A lot of those folks that are running helmets, you've got one more month that you can run that helmet. That's anywhere from a $200 to $1,000 commitment. So on that, as you're looking at all that, get your must-haves versus your nice-to-haves. Sure, I want that really cool flat white interior that's all one color, matches the roll cage, and that super new cool race seat with the built-in cooling and my cool shirt. That's all a nice-to-have. Must-have, race car that runs. Tap into your team if you have that reliable group, and then think about, are you duplicating effort? And I'm going to go into personal on this one. I'm out here on the West Coast, and I've gotten very spoiled living on the East Coast because I always had a really fast race car and a really good team. And now I'm out here on the West Coast, and I have an embarrassment of riches of access to really fast race cars. It makes no sense for me to build a race car, even though I really, really, really want one. I have no need for a race car, and anything I build is not going to be half as good as what I have access to. So where do I fit into that team? What can I start building? Well, Matt needs a trailer. So I've got a trailer that could use some love. I've got an RV that can use a little bit of revision because it's not meeting the same needs that it met on the East Coast as it does out here on the West Coast. So I'm expanding the kitchen, and basically I'm becoming kind of the pit mom. So I'm going to have to start learning how to cook, and I'm going to start using a lot of Chrissy's recipes and crock pots. And these are things that I can focus on over my non-racing period of time to be an asset to my team. So where can your team in line with your goals fit in, and where can you fit in with your team in line to their goals? So you look at the financials, the logistics, and the reality of the situation, and all of that really needs to jive.
Wow, that's cool. I like the part about, think about all the auxiliary stuff. I was packing away my gear, and I just figured out that one of my leather thingies ripped off my gloves. So I wrote myself a note for the spring: buy gloves if you don't get them for Christmas. Mm-hmm. Do that before you get them. I like that. Good plans. I also have work to do on my trailer. Does anyone have anything else to add? No, my little bubble ripped off. The little vent bubble. Oh. It got cracked, and then it broke, and then pieces of it were in my yard in the last windstorm.
Oh, those are like $10.
I know. It's one of the things I got to take care of.
The trailer might be the least janky thing you own.
I think the Lesbian Lori is pretty not janky. It's
well, you missed it pissing on my hat.
I know, it's vengeful and angry. That's not janky.
And it exploded its muffler, so it sounds a little jankier these days. But.
It's really hard to commute on the Atlantic City Expressway on that thing. Whoa! I can't hear my podcast at all.
But you can hear you coming up the street, though.
Totally.
We're like, oh, yeah, Jeff's here. Cool. Let's go outside.
Well, yeah, but when you're like just driving, it sounds like a revving big block. But when you're cruising the highway at a real specific speed, it's got that drone.
That kind of loudmouth stuff used to be reserved for the redneck of the crew. Now it's Jeff.
Not on purpose. I'll fix it. Does anyone else have anything to add?
I was just thinking of writing it down. So recently, Chris and I wrote down. Actually, he started the list, and we've expanded on it. But making that list, and actually, Jeff, you had a serious list. A list of stuff to do. Oh, yeah. You had like a serious one. You were adamant on checking it all, checking one off. It was like a whole month. Yeah, but was it like a good? It's like a
this
thorough.
Is the exact
list?
one.
Oh, okay. Well, then you're still checking stuff off of it.
It like becomes page 2 and page 3 and page 4. It's the same like pad all the time.
That's intimidating. I feel like having a list that you can check off and be like, okay, I've done these things and now I need to move on is a good place to be. Also, Chris made a list, but I organized it from like house and cars because soon we it's going to be cold out. So either get them done now or get them done later, and then save some for a while. Like we would like to do some of The Office, where we spend all of our time. We were like, well, that's great, except we could do that over a weekend when it's snowing and it's super cold. And
check out number 17.
I can't see 17.
It's Citroen title.
Citroen title. Check that one off your bingo list.
But
That's exciting.
Chrissy, and I'm not interrupting you, but
No.
adding to what you're saying, it is spot on, because having that written down, you get your mind all wound up for, okay, this weekend we're going to do X on Z, and then the weather does change rather quickly there sometimes. Crap. And then you end up sitting around, watching Macklemore videos all day, but having that list, oh, wait a minute, we could have knocked this out and then watched Macklemore videos all night. So it does. Having a list organizes how your brain begins to process it.
But it
Exactly
has to
why
be-
that list is there, because
It has to be organized.
Well,
You're-
it's not organized, but it's all there.
It's
because
sliding
what I do
scale,
is,
Chrissy.
if
That's
I
Jeff
have-
organized right there.
if I have a couple of,
organization.
if I have half a day, I could go to the list and knock something out.
And I
Okay.
do the same thing at work. I have an intimidating rolling list that it's really things I want to get done during the week, but I do it by each day. And I'm sitting there, if I'm waiting on a due back or a callback or an email or somebody hasn't processed something.
A
that I
do
need
back
to
like
do on
from
my
Star
list,
Wars?
I look on my list and go,
Chrissy's
what's something
sister will laugh.
yeah, what's something stupid I can knock out right now? And then I go and do that. So it's sliding scale of organization, but again, just having a reference of, what am I doing right now besides looking at Facebook Marketplace that I could get some work done?
Good way to
Love
be.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, we're going to move on. Hella sweet or but terrible. This is the segment where Jeff talks about some crazy idea he has, and everybody around the table says whether
I'm
that is
alarmed because
hella
it's
sweet
only in
or butt
10-point font. It's almost like you don't want to admit whatever you're about to talk about.
Oh no! I just I was putting it in quickly because we were about to start the show. So those of you who were keeping up on the Slack discussion, I went to the fabled Fazios because I had a day off and I spent a couple of hours wandering around in the surplus section and looked at I swear to God, robot arm and slushy machine sitting on top of each other.
Our team really wanted.
Which really
Oh
wants
my
the
God,
robot
so
arm
bad.
and slushy
And it was great because not only were you not getting stuff done on your list, everyone on the Slack channel was not getting stuff done on our list because we were all like, slushy machine. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
So
everybody
like
said
only $1,700. It's fine.
Hamza wanted the robot arm. Everybody else wanted the
Yeah.
slushy machine.
Yeah,
So-
that should
so
say a
anyway.
lot.
And Sharpie on the side was fine.
Yeah. So I was there and I was trying to avoid social media because it was election day and I didn't want to go to Facebook because it's like, Trump this and stealing elections. And then my friends, like, it's so, it's tiring to be on social media. And that's why Chris is off social media. So I thought about, you know what? Maybe I just need to leave all that crappy social media and get it and start on TikTok. See, because my son is TikToking, and I could have made some really, really fun TikTok videos. So, should I ditch all of the old man Facebook, Insta, Twitters, and like get cool with the new kids and start TikToking
Only if
around
you
the
want
table?
Chinese to have
And
all your information.
I don't care. What are they gonna know? That I like robot arms and slushies? I already have a TikTok. Just to qualify, my son has a TikTok account, so I have a TikTok account so I can see what he is posting, and
Ooh.
I follow him.
How are his videos?
All listeners, what's Jeff's TikTok?
Oh gosh.
But there's nothing on it. That's the problem.
Doesn't
I don't
matter.
even
You're
know.
about to get like at least 2 or 3 of followers.
You think our followers are on TikTok?
I know a
Tick-
couple of them are. A
What?
A
TikTok?
couple of them are.
TikTok? Is it
You've
that
met
it?
Randy. You've met Randy Bish. You know he's on TikTok.
It's at Jeff Wakeman.
Okay.
JEFFWAKEMEN.
You're so original.
I have one. Well, no, I didn't even know I had an account. I just know I downloaded the software because I wanted to see what my son was looking
That's like
at.
Chrissy's 3 Instagram accounts.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, oh my gosh, somebody impersonated me. And I was like, oh
So
crap, that's me.
I only have one follower, and it's Josh, my son, and he only has 3 followers, and it's 2 friends from Boy Scouts and me. So out there in listener land, I will take your advice on this, but first I must hear advice from my coworkers. Should I TikTok? And no, I will not shake my ass. Mental.
You said ditch social media and pick up TikTok.
Ditch old man.
That's like,
social
I'm going
media.
to quit drinking whiskey and I'm only going to drink vodka. You're swapping one addiction for another. If social media is frustrating you, then turn it all off. Our former guest, Bradley Brownell, will go on rants on how he is happier without Facebook. If you follow the Smoking Tire, Matt Farah, like one of his things is he'll turn off comments because he enjoys interacting with his listeners. He's just tired of all the hate back and forth on this one. From that perspective, with some of the things I do, I don't want to say I need social media, but it's certainly an ally. But I've absolutely had to completely revamp how I approach it and what I do with it. And I have to force myself. And every now and again, I'll delete it off my phone because I'm spending too much time on it. So if you're going to do it, but don't swap a different flavor of addiction for another one. If you feel like it's making you miserable, then it's making you miserable, and get rid of it. Keeping TikTok just to keep interaction with your son, that's not really the same thing. But if you're going to start making TikTok videos, then you're just doing the same thing. So do it or don't, but don't.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to leave social media because it's annoying me. I'm trying to leave where all of the people follow me. Like, get rid of all of my father's friends.
Well, then you delete them. Like,
yeah, you can actually just you can unfollow but stay friends, and they think they're talking to you, but they're not. It's great.
Don't even bother. Just purge. Just go through and go. Yeah, no.
Election's over.
No.
Don't need to convince you. Don't need to convince you.
No, and just and you'll probably get rid of half of them. The only thing I'm thinking here is that you won't on TikTok. You won't spend as much time because you're gonna just be like, yeah, that's kind of dumb. Oh, that's kind of dumb, and then you'll be bored and you'll look somewhere else. That's my only wonder. I haven't looked at it.
It's pretty intriguing. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's like what was the old one? Mental, help me out. The one that had the little short videos.
Vine.
Quibi?
Vine. It's very much like Vine.
Yeah, it is Vine.
It's Vine.
Chinese.
Yeah, it's Chinese Vine that steals your
and again,
info.
more capturing of your information.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm with Mental. Just like cut it off.
Purge.
Just purge and just stop for a while. Just, you know what? Do without. Give yourself a hiatus. And then if you come back, then purge. Make it work for you. Because right now you're working for it. Chrissy.
I am going to be selfish and say you should stay on because I really like watching things. I really do. I tell Chris about what's going on because it's hilarious.
I do like tormenting the trolls.
Such a great job.
Poke
so
the trolls
you
a
post
lot.
something that's saying like, I can't believe this is happening, and you have I am the Michael Jackson eating the popcorn. That's me. I sit there and watch it, and I go back, and you're like, oh my god, 97 comments, and everybody's like, because all of our friends from one side of the parties go to the other side of they all say, how are you so dumb? And they're like, how are you so dumb? And I'm like, oh yes, this is it's like a soap opera on your Facebook page.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while you get sassy, and then you kick the hornet's nest and run away, and it's amazing. You're like, you're all dumb, I gotta go, slam the door, and everybody's like, what?
Fact check, link, fact check, link,
And
link.
they're like, I don't care.
Asshole. And then I leave for 8 hours.
It's awesome.
And I got a taste of this on a different scale when I was deployed to the Middle East, but I do enjoy this because we're watching this unfold on your social media, and then we're in a different conversation on text. I'm going to say this. Oh my God, you're not going to say, and he totally said it. He just said it. It's awesome. Chrissy raises a great point.
I'm sorry that you are affected by this, and if it hurts you, if you're sad about it, I'm very sorry. Selfishly, I would like you to stay on, so I can continue watching.
Well, and like I said, the Facebook doesn't really affect me. I'm not depressed because of it. I was just going to try something new.
Oh, I don't care about. You can tick whatever. I think I don't think
I'll talk whatever you tick there, Wakeman.
No, I don't. No, I'm not doing any of it. But I don't think. Sure, try something new. See if you can get some more followers. But if you're on there, don't you have to shake your butt? Isn't that half the reason it exists? Oh gosh. Okay, that just happened. Sorry for Radio Land. You just missed that. Now you have to watch on YouTube. So I sure tick it a little bit but stay on Facebook because I like it. End rant.
Still
Alrighty.
purge and make it work for you.
That's
Purge
not a bad idea.
purge later. Purge some of them.
Make it work for Chrissy, I think, is the consensus.
Exactly what I'm
is we
saying.
need your social media to
My wife says all the
entertain.
time, why don't you just unfriend them? Because I'm having so much fun.
Right, and she was all over it. The last time I was like, and so when Chris was like, wait, Jen got involved? I'm like, oh yeah. She wrote long posts and I was like, yeah, go Jen. And it was awesome.
Yeah,
That
Santiago,
was just one
please,
post too.
Santiago, please keep commenting because I love your stuff too. Oh my gosh! Do we have any idea what we're?
We do.
Listeners, do you TikTok? If you do, tell us so that way I know to do it. Because we could do a show TikTok too. Just a thought.
What will we do? Do we all have to shake our
Or
butts?
little videos. You just do little videos. It's like fine. It's fun.
Jeff will
mental.
shake his butt in front of our race cars.
That's
Oh
right.
wait, we don't have any race cars.
Oh, we have race cars. We just don't race.
True. Does anybody know what we're covering next week?
Yeah,
Chris.
somebody does.
Chris.
Thanks.
That's right. I'm sorry. I'm so used to us not having a next show promo. I wasn't even looking. Yeah. Hey, remember last year we went to SEMA? It was so awesome. We broke it. So this year it's virtual. But hey, Mental and Chrissy have been keeping up. So we'll talk about some of our favorite topics and builds and things that we're seeing in virtual SEMA this year. Because, really we need this show to get press passes for next year. So, hey, we're going to have some coverage. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been able to connect too much to the SEMA. I've been busy pissing off people on the internet about the
I know,
election.
it's amazing. I'll do it for
I'll
you.
piss off people at SEMA. Why, this Ford Bronco build is completely original. Why, this
Bronco,
Ford Bronco
ding.
build is completely
Bronco,
original.
ding,
Why, this
ding.
Ford Bronco,
Bronco ding. Actually, I don't think the Bronco's been out long enough.
No,
Has
it's
there been
not.
some Broncos? Yeah.
I'm sure there's more. There's something there,
Yeah.
whatever.
They're gladiators. Gladiator
Bronco
trucks.
be next year. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Ding, ding.
Ding. Gladiator. Okay, so thank you for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Can Social Media. We also hope you'll join us in the world of TikTok and Instagram. No, driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a fantastic rating, just like those other people did.
Love you.
Even if you hate us, give us 5 stars and tell us why. We don't care. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com, or text mental at 484-243-0455. Who knows? I might even answer because it goes to my phone too. Find us on Instagram or Twitter at everyone.racers. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the SEMA shiny side up, unless you have no shock absorbers that are actually, then your wheels are just never going to stay down. Bye, everybody.